Hey y'all, it's Violet and this is my first ever flute tutorial series for beginners. So I've been playing the flute since I was 7 years old, and then later in high school I did play the piccolo in the marching band. I wanted to do this series for any students out there that just want some extra help. My lessons are totally free, meant for anybody. Just because I really love this instrument. If you need some extra help, I'd love to be there for you to help you out. The flute I'm going to cover in the series is going to be the concert flute. It's the most widely used in band and orchestras, although just so you know, there are other types of flutes out there as well. So a standard C flute, concert flute, is going to look something like this, and when this is basically like a beginner flute, and then when you play and get better, you will transition over to a flute like this. So this is a standard C flute, closed toe or plateau keys, C foot, and then you will most likely get to something like this, which will be open hole or front hole, and usually with a B foot. So the flute is played. The music is treble clef. So it's going to be the right hand of a piano. So if you happen to play piano, the lowest C on a flute is going to be the same as middle C on a piano. Just to give you some information on the parts of a flute, if you didn't already learn from your band teacher, it comes in 3 parts. So the top part is the head joint, and everything, you assemble it. Head joint, and this is where you blow through. And this piece right here is called your embouchure. Embouchure can come actually in a different metal. These are your keys from the front. These are your other keys on the back. And this is the body of the flute, where you put all your fingers, and then this is the foot joint. You'll see that this is a C foot joint. And you want to make sure when you assemble your flute, you don't smash the keys, you don't want to bend any wires. Flutes are very sensitive. Any dent will mess up the sound. If any wire is bent, any screw is loose. They're very delicate instruments, I have to say, and something that definitely has to be warmed up properly to play in tune. You always want some type of metronome or tuner at home to make sure you stay in tune. So on to this flute. I want to tell you that the student model I just showed you is a Gemeinhardt. It was my very first flute that I played for 1 year. I played a lot, so I had to move on to an intermediate and advanced flute my 2nd year of playing, and I have a Emerson, and both of these are vintage from the 1980s. You cannot get these anymore. Even the Gemeinhardt that I have is not produced the same. So if you buy a Gemeinhardt these days, it's not going to be the same quality. This Emerson that I'm very proud of is an American-made flute. And just so you know, the precious metals of a flute are also very important. The Gemeinhardt student model is silver plated, and then or nickel, and then this one is all sterling silver. So the pure or the better metal you can get for your instrument, the better it is going to sound. Most likely your goal is to get silver, sterling, all silver. But if you can afford it, gold is great. Gold will give you a warmer sound, but it's quite expensive. So this is what I could afford. I did have to buy a used Emerson. There's no way at the time when I was a kid I could afford it. But I will focus in the early lessons on the student flute, but then later on I will progress to playing this intermediate/advanced Emerson flute. I did want to give you an up-close view of what an open hole flute looks like. These French flutes have holes in it, and they also come with silicone or plastic plugs when you first purchase it. to get the flutist used to playing. And then as you get better, you can just pop the little plugs out and you don't need them again. The reason they're for more advanced players is because your finger placement to cover the holes all the way is essential to be able to play it, to produce the proper sound. So that's what makes this different, along with also probably getting a B foot. Most advanced players are going to get a B foot, and that will be the lowest note. That will be one step below the C4. There are some flutes that will go even above the highest C7, but that's not as common. That's not really what you're going to see in band. And again, my point of making these tutorials is to educate you about the concert flute that you'll be using in band class. And that's all I want to cover today. Is basically the two most common types of C flutes are going to be the closed hole or plateau keys, or the open hole or French hole keys, and the different types of metals that you can purchase your flute in. Sterling silver, all sterling silver is the way to go if you can afford it, but if you can't, at least silver plated will do the job. And from there, we will begin our next lesson where I disassemble the flutes again, and we'll start from square one. So until next time, peace and love.